Harry McNitt.
Harry McNitt. And does the name Lyle Peterson mean anything to you?
Lyle Peterson, yeah.
What's he mean to you?
I don't know, but the name's familiar.
Yeah, I'm his son, and I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you a picture of this here, because your name has been indelibly marked in my lore of things, and it's not your car. I certainly remember the days that you were driving at a place called Roll O Bowl Speedway.
Yep.
And I remember distinctly you rolling over your car.
Oh yeah, I've done that a few times.
Going back to the beginning, the property that we're talking about, the Roll O Bowl Speedway, your brother was kind enough to sort of bring us up to speed as to how that actually happened. Were you involved when Don was actually mapping out where the speedway would go on the property?
No.
No? Did you live there? Where did you guys live?
I lived right down over the hill from there.
Okay.
Towards Watts Flats.
And you lived, who were your brothers and sisters? Who were they?
Don and Howard.
Okay. And any sisters?
No.
No. And the place where the racetrack is was owned by whom?
My grandmother.
And that was, who was she?
Mabel McNitt.
Mabel McNitt. And when they referred to Howard McNitt and Isabel McNitt, that was your
Mother and dad.
mother and dad. Was your mother and dad involved in the racetrack at all, in the planning of it?
Well, I don't know about the planning of it.
Right.
My mother worked the hot dog stand.
Yeah. What did you think, as the younger of the brothers, of this crazy scheme of your brother Don to turn a pasture into a racetrack?
I liked it. I'd race it.
Had you raced before?
Nope.
No? What inspired a guy like Red McNitt to think racing would be a lot of fun?
Well, I was racing on the road, so. What's the difference,
Whereabouts? Watts Flats, that whole area?
Yeah, any place.
Yeah.
Any place wanted to race.
How old were you at the time?
16.
16? You actually had a license?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. During that first year, which would have been racing in 1956, if you had to close your eyes and describe to me how the racetrack went, how would you describe a lap around the racetrack?
Take off from the flagman, go through the creek,
Right.
up on the hill, all the way back down the hill, and cross the creek and back where the flagman was.
So during that time period, there was creek ran through, I guess it would be turns 1 and 2 and 3
and 4.
That must have created its own kind of obstacle course.
Yeah, if you could get somebody in the creek, you could fix them.
How would you do that?
Hit the mud hard as you could. It turned to mud after about 10 cars go through there.
Right. And so the idea would splash them, windshield, they can't see, and you wouldn't have done anything like that, would you have?
Nah, I doubt it.
So you were there really race 1, day 1, weren't you?
Yeah.
Talk to me about day 1. I'm reading the newsprints. It sounded like the first couple of attempts for racing was kind of rained out. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
I remember that.
What was the driver's reaction after the first race? Was there what was their sense of the track?
I liked it.
You like it? What did they like about it? Do you recall?
Getting somebody stuck in the creek. No.
Were there? Talk to me about the logistics of it. Who was the flag man? Do you remember?
I flagged there when I got hurt. After I got hurt, I flagged there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who the flagman was.
How'd you get hurt?
Rolled over.
Really? Was that part of the exhibition, or?
No, that was part of a race.
How'd that happen?
No, my front wheel run up on another car wheel and flipped me bottom side up, come back down when I hit. Tore my back up a little.
Oh.
Did that end your career, Red, or did you race again after that?
I raced the same day. Then I went down to the hospital and had it checked after the race.
And the doctor said you really hurt yourself.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And as you were racing, were there any improvements done to the track after sort of the first couple of races, especially with the creek? Did you guys figure that was too much of an obstacle course?
Well, it wasn't the first couple races. It was later on that was put sluices in there and closed it over.
Right.
No creek.
How many cars would normally be on a feature during those time periods in the early years? Do you recall? Were there 20 cars, 60 cars?
I would say probably 15.
15 cars?
I guess. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah. Where were the guys mostly from, the drivers?
All over.
All over?
Pennsylvania, up here.
When you hit the racetrack and you said, oh my gosh, I hope this particular driver is not here today, who would that be? Was there one guy you said, oh man, this guy's either tough or he's rough or...
Oh, everybody was pretty tough.
Yeah. Of course, they probably said that about you.
Probably.
How did the drivers hear about Roll O Bowl? Do you have any idea or how the word got out?
Word got out from driver to driver, and then what was put in the paper.
Did you find that, what was a normal race card, Red? Was it, as far as number of races on it was Sundays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know how many races were there on a card?
Well, you had 3 heats, a semifinal, and usually the feature.
Okay. And during that time period, you also tried to encourage crowds by doing demonstrations or exhibitions. What were some of them?
Rolling cars over.
Had you done that before? Well,
I've rolled them over, but not intentionally like I was doing there.
so you did it to basically bring a crowd out.
Yeah.
What was your first reaction? I mean, you're up there, you're going up on, just so I get, you're going out turn 4, right? And as you come down 3, would you building up speed on turn 4 and then you'd go up on the bank?
No, I started on turn number 1, went the wrong way on the track, and then I run up on the bank like that, and then it went over. He had pretty good speed up by the time he got down to the high bank.
Okay.
51 Studebaker.
What was your number?
7.
7?
Why?
Yeah, did you have a particular reason why number 7?
7 come 11.
Not Mickey Mantle's number or anything like
No.
that? You and I had to fight for that number.
You always won.
What other exhibitions did they have?
T-bone.
And how'd that work?
They had hay with 2 planks up, and went up over that and hit right in the middle of another car and then flop over. James done that. What was the James that got killed? Walt. Walt was one. He did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Leo Yeager, he rode the hood through the fire, wall of fire.
He did. Tell me about that.
Well, he just laid on the hood and held on to by the grill. Had a wall of fire, and I set it afire and drove him through it.
Who would be the driver?
I don't remember who drove it.
Yeah. Holy cow. So he was not lashed onto the hood by anything other than pure body weight.
Yeah. Well, he had enough weight. Leo did. He was a pretty big boy. Did any of your other brothers, either of your other brothers, kind of get involved in this craziness? Don rolled over that Studebaker. He polished it off.
Polished it off?
He went too fast and tore the A-frame out from under it.
Oh, nice.
So then I couldn't do it no more.
So you had a specifically built car to do the rollovers?
Yeah, right out of the junkyard. Put a battery in it. That's it.
Now, what about during the race day itself? Where would the spectators, where would they come in? How would they come onto the track, or to watch the track?
They would come in below the house coming up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sat all along the bank in their cars. And some of them went up back on the back straightaway.
Mm-hmm.
And had a row of benches down through there.
On the back side, between
Backside, yeah.
turns 2 and
Up
3.
towards the woods.
Where were the cars pitted, the race cars?
Up in the apple orchard,
Which was where?
right in behind my grandmother's house.
But when I'm looking at the racetrack, is it like toward 1 and 2 or
1 and
3?
2.
Okay, down that way.
So that cars would come out from the pits and really kind of come on to turn 2, right? I mean, that's-
Yeah, well, come in, yeah, right between 1 and 2, you come down that.
And so,
Now that's where the creek was, though. right?
Yeah, we had to go through the creek.
Oh, you had to, from the pit.
Yeah, well, you
get from
come
the pit
down,
onto the racetrack.
Yeah.
You had to go through the creek.
and then you went clear around, you come back to the flagman. When he flagged you, you went back into the creek again.
where was the principal place to pass on this track? I walked it, and it's not a lot of spots.
Did you walk it lately?
Yeah, we have the owners of the property here. The
How
Lennon.
about the trees down there?
Yeah, we worked around it, but
I always wanted to go down and just see what it looked like. I haven't did it.
we're going to do that. Not tonight, but we're going to do that soon. So the best place to pass, as you were kind of anticipating the move, where would you go? What's the best part of the course?
I liked it up on the high side. Any place you could catch somebody, I'd go,
Right,
you know. Just pass wherever you could. Pass them in the creek if you had to,
right,
as long as you was on the inside.
right, right.
Red, you won a feature race at Roll O Bowl on July 8th, 1956.
I don't remember. I
I
remember
was going
winning
to
the
ask
race.
you, what do you remember about that race?
I remember I don't know if that was the time it caught fire in my back seat. I had a pipe going up and coming out the top. I don't think that was the feature, though. I don't know.
Well, explain that. How'd that happen?
Oh,
What happened?
some of the seat got up against the pipe. Caught fire and smoking away bad.
Okay, here's the report, Post Journal, July 9th, 1956. Fire fails to stop McNitt, wins Roll O Bowl feature. Here we go. Pity the jalopy drivers who haul 30, 40 miles into the Roll O Bowl. Oh, the shame up in the preliminaries, but comes the feature and they're as neglected as Whistler's father. Yesterday was the same time with a harrowing twist. Red McNitt, yep, his brothers own the track, survived a fire to capture a 25 headliner. McNitt's exhaust pipe funneled through the roof of his stock car, ignited the upholstery, but the jaunty little redhead ignored the flames and sped to a quarter-lap victory over Bud Morgan of Stoneham, Pennsylvania. So,
He was a hard guy to beat, too.
was it?
Now, were you 16 at that time, Red, in 1956? Were you born in 1940?
34.
30. You were born in 34, so in 56 you were 22. Okay.
Who were the top drivers during those days that you raced at Roll O Bowl? Do you remember some of
Stan Stevens, Johnny Whitehead, Blinky Litzinger. Dick who? Oh, yeah. I can't think of his last name.
Pangborn?
Pangborn? Yep.
At the time, they would keep referring to the track owners as Howard and Don McNitt. Were you principally, was your role other, did you have more of a role there other than just racing? Were you?
No, if I had, I wouldn't have been able to race.
So, you were the racing McNitt.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever have a special where the three of you got out there and raced against each other?
I think so.
Did you?
Can't remember what happened, though.
Do you remember, Don?
Yeah, we raced.
Who won?
I don't remember.
Oh,
He probably pushed me out of the way.
Through the creek. I'm seeing a pattern here.
yeah, that's right.
You win any way you can.
Ken.
Red, did you race anywhere other than Roll O Bowl? Did you go to other racetracks?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Northeast, I raced there.
Is that Cool Road?
Cool Road is in Westville. I raced
Okay.
there. I raced Skyline years.
You went to Skyline. You went to Coon Road in Westfield. Did you go to Cool?
KURL or something.
KUHL? Did you ever go there? I thought that was over toward Northeast.
Well, I raced Northeast. I didn't know the name of it.
Old road by, what, Wesleyville? Yeah, I think it is.
Is that the one you're talking about over by Wesleyville?
I don't know.
I
Okay.
think that's where that,
What kind of driver was Jim Scott?
He was a good driver.
Was he a good driver?
Yep.
And it looked like there were a bunch of James boys who also raced there,
Oh, yeah. Louis, Don, Walt.
right? What were the rules, if any, that you had there? That your brother said, all right, these are the rules of the track, things you gotta at least have in the cars, like
Roll bars.
roll bars? What about safety belts or of
Oh, yeah. Safety belt.
what did the safety belt look like back then?
Big and wide and had a lever with a latch. You go in and latch it back like that.
Mhm.
Big wide. Like a pilot's.
Were there other things that, I read a couple articles here where there are actually some drivers who were disqualified for having something more than just a jalopy. You know,
Oh, yeah. They tried it.
Did they? You didn't do that, did you?
Nope. Yeah.
Couldn't. Couldn't when his brother's in charge.
I had a lightweight flywheel.
Did you?
Yeah.
You didn't tell your brothers till after the race?
Didn't tell them ever.
Till today!
Yeah. Well, it's too late now. I can't race no more anyway. Too old.
At least not up there.
Yeah.
That's right.
What other things did you do to prepare your car for racing, other than the lightweight flywheel?
Put a grill guard on it.
Okay,
Half a truck rim and welded up the frame.
okay.
Not much more, I don't think.
And these were purely jalopies. This was nothing stock about this, was there?
It was stock, right?
That's
Just,
the-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you go to the junkyard and get one $25 and weld bars in it, go to racing it.
right.
But I think Blinky and them put a little more in it. I won't say that, but
Was there a particular?
Well, he did, yeah.
Was there a particular model of car that was a good race car back in those days?
everybody liked Fords. I raced Chevys
Why?
because I didn't like Fords.
What kind of Chevys were you looking for? What did you prefer?
I raced a 32, 37, 38, and a 40. Coupes, all coupes.
Okay.
It looked, in reading through all the articles in 56, 57, 58, those were sort of the heyday of the Roll O Bowl, just from the number of cars and the spectators. And what happened to change that? The crowds went down, the cars went down. What do you think, what changed?
Well, Skyline, they opened up. They was open, but I don't know.
Mhm.
People just got tired of it, I guess.
Did such competition as like state line become a factor in the decision?
Yeah, probably.
Trying to get my hands around it. State line would have started when, Randy?
56.
So they would have covered 56, but they were pretty late model. Is that what they
Yeah.
were originally?
Oh, they had initially late models,
Yeah.
but they had jalopy races about 3 times a year,
Yeah.
but primarily late models.
And that would have drawn you. Would you have gone and raced any of the jalopies at state line races?
I raced over there at State Line a couple times.
Did you?
Skyline I did. I
Right.
raced up there.
What was the money like on a normal day at Roll O Bowl? You drive your vehicle in. Of course, your vehicle was already there. What did you have to pay to just race that day? Do you remember? Some entrance fee?
I don't know. I don't think it was much if it was. $2, $3, $4,
And that was principally to pay for the insurance?
probably.
And what kind of purse when you won the feature here?
$25, $30.
Okay.
So you paid for your race car.
Yeah,
Really?
out of the junkyard.
Good for you.
I doubt if there's many races today that can say that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't say that anymore.
No, now when you put the
When
money
Jim
in,
Scott was here, Red, he said that
I'd like to see him.
one night he He said he made $75 on a Sunday. He'd raced up to Roll O Bowl in the afternoon and went somewhere else that night, maybe Skyline, and made a total of $75. He said that's how much he'd made all that week at work.
Yeah.
He made it in one night.
Yeah. He was a good driver.
Yeah.
I think he drove Fords too.
Yeah, he did.
I noticed in one of these reference to a powder puff race. Was that a common occurrence or just sort of a once-a-year deal?
Probably 2-3 times a year.
Was there a female racer that was just better than others?
Clarine James,
Is that right?
Whose wife was she?
Leroy.
Leroy's wife.
If you had to fill out this sentence, Greg, the funniest thing that happened to Red McNitt on the racetrack at Roll O Bowl was, what would you say?
Quite a few funny things.
I got time.
Well, we had a demolition once. It was real funny.
How'd you make out?
I did all right, but somebody else didn't. The guy put his road car in there.
Road car?
And he was
No.
big old Chrysler. Yeah, Bill Ireland.
Oh my gosh.
And I was afraid he was going to wipe us all out, so I sicked everybody on him. I kind of stayed back and let them take care of him.
Yep.
Did they take care of him?
Yeah, he hid his car in the woods. I don't think his wife ever seen that car.
no.
again. Yeah, he did. I knew right where he hid it, too.
That's a great story. Well, that's a good one. What else?
I don't know.
So Bill Ireland never told his wife. His wife still alive?
I don't even know if he is.
Okay. Let's see. They may hear this for the first time. Probably wondered what possessed him to take his road car out onto the track.
Well, you had to know him.
Is he a little wild? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Now, he also raced, didn't he?
yeah.
He had a race car, too.
So just on the spur of the moment, he drives the car out on the course and off to the demolition derby. Oh my word.
Didn't look too good after that.
Now, were there times at all, Red, where after a particular race when guys were kind of bumping each other and working them in the creek, that the race would end and the racers perhaps had a word with each other?
Oh, yeah. Lots of times.
Really?
One run over the hill, up on Hill Higher. All the James boys was chasing him.
Who went up over the hill?
Johnny Messenger.
What did he do?
I think it says.
Oh, he hit Don James,
Ah.
and I was flagging that day.
Mm-hmm.
And Don James just missed me and went bottom side up in the creek.
Oh my gosh.
So the other James boys didn't like it too good.
Mhm.
So when he come in the pit, but he knew they was all coming, and he jumped out and up through the woods. Beulah, his wife, she jumped in the car and went and picked him up. They didn't come back. that was real funny.
Yes, indeed. The other incidences where you can recall, were they actually fisticuffs? I mean, did it get to that level, or was
Yeah, they pushed each other around a little bit.
as the flag man, did you ever find yourself in sort of awkward calls? Did you ever have to disqualify guys? You ever have your black flag out and
No, let everything go.
yeah,
Let them do what they want.
Right.
Unless it was too obvious.
right? Remember any of those times? No. I'm visualizing walking the track and seeing those movies, which I've seen, and you go up between the back stretch, and it's up on a hill, and then there's really a cliff there, if you will. Anybody ever find their way down that cliff going between 2 and 3?
I don't think anybody ever went down in there. I went in on turn 3. I had a 48 Chevy I bought from a guy in Panama, and he did the same thing with it.
You did what?
Rolled it over and about in the same area, and it would get jumping as you was coming down. The front end dug in, and I went on over and I laid there bottom side up, and it had a gas tank in the back and had a wooden cork drove in it with a hole drilled in it.
Right?
And after I rolled over, I was looking around, and I looked back and see the gas coming out. So I go back and stick my thumb over the hole. I remember my oldest brother come running down there, thought I was hurt or something. They didn't think it was very funny, but I didn't want to lose my gas.
Sure, well, that was expensive, yeah. Throw caution to the wind to yourself. Who cares? It's got to save the gas.
That's right.
Were you married at the time, Red, when
Oh,
the
yeah.
shenanigans was going on?
Oh, yeah.
What'd your wife think about you?
She knew me.
What did she know about you?
I'd done what I wanted,
Okay?
and when I wanted.
Yeah.
Would you say that if she was here today?
Yeah, but I'd be standing back. I can outrun her now, so don't worry.
Was she part of the Roll O Bowl team and she sell hot dogs or?
Yeah, she worked in the concession stand.
Yeah.
Her and Don's wife and my mother.
Okay. What'd your grandma think of all this? It was on her property.
She didn't care.
She didn't care.
She's all right.
Yeah. Did she come down and watch the races? Was she interested?
Yeah, I think she watched them
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the James boys here quite a bit. Who would you say was the best driver out of the bunch? You raced against them all.
I would say Louis.
Louis?
Don was good. Walt wasn't. No, I shouldn't say that, he ain't here. But Louis was the best, I think, in my own opinion.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what I'm asking
Yeah.
for, yeah.
And of the drivers that you had a chance to again race against, the guy you would least like to be in that last lap with, just one-on-one, who would it be?
Probably Stan Stevens or Johnny Whitehead,
Mm-hmm.
Dick Pangborn,
Right.
them three.
So those were the best.
He was good.
Were they the toughest in the sense of not being willing to kind of move you around?
Yeah, they'd move you.
Yeah.
I'd move them too.
Right.
You take what you got,
Right.
and you give it back.
Were you there during that last year? Well, I guess just chronologically, 58, 59. It looked like there wasn't a lot of racing that year. And I don't know, Randy, if you found any more than 4 or 5.
That's all there were, just a
Events.
few that year.
And then Blinky and Dick Pangborn picked it up that
Yeah.
last year. Did you race that last year?
I don't know. What was that last?
1960. 1960.
I can't remember whether I did or not.
It was in fact, Ronnie Blackburn won the very last race at Roll O Bowl. In fact,
That was the first racetrack he raced at too,
Yeah.
Roll O Bowl.
Yeah.
Do you know who a man named Chuck Bacon is? You're laughing, you
Yeah.
must know.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
In 1959, one of the Post-Journal articles said he was the manager of the Roll O Bowl Speedway. Do you recall anything like that?
No, he probably said that.
Well, I was going to say, could he have been a could he have been a blowhard? and
He
said-
could have been.
So tell me something about Chuck Bacon, because I'm curious about that guy.
He was a guy who just do what he wanted. He about something like me. He just, if he wanted to do something, he'd do it.
He live up in the flats, or
No, I live in Pennsylvania.
remember where?
Irvine.
Irvine. So what was his connection to the track?
He just raced
He
up
just
there.
raced there.
Yeah.
He was a good, close friend of mine.
Yeah.
Don, did you still own the track in 1959?
We run it, we didn't own it, my grandmother.
Yeah, okay, but you still ran it in 59.
Nah, 55 to 58 wasn't it, I'm pretty sure.
I can't remember what it.
And then you guys.
I'm trying to figure out who ran it in 59. There was 4 races held that year.
You did, didn't you?
No, Blinky didn't come till 60.
Well, we run it.
You run it in
Yeah,
59
we
too
have
then.
run it, but see, there was only one other track in the district when we started. In the last year, there was 12 of them running. That's why, things slowed right down, and if you couldn't pay your insurance without taking out of your pocket, you might as well slow down.
Since 1960 was the last year of the Roll O Bowl, and you just raced a little bit after that.
A little bit.
What happened to Red McNitt after that? Where did you work?
I worked AVM,
Mm-hmm.
automatic goat machine.
Right.
I drove truck for BRD Wet for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else I've done. I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
What are you doing nowadays, Red?
Retired and retarded.
You live here during the summer, and where are you in Florida? Are you in Florida?
Yeah, Flagler Beach, just above Daytona Beach.
Okay. You follow racing at all?
I used to work the track down there,
Doing what?
taking tickets, selling tickets, but it's too commercial now. You go down there, you get trampled now.
Yeah.
So you don't follow racing?
I watch it on TV.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, not.
Okay. Who's your favorite driver?
Not Gordon, his buddy.
Johnson?
Yep.
Okay.
He made me $100 the first race this year, so he's my man.
Gee, you could have bought 4 race cars if you,
Yeah.
if you had $100.
Yeah.
How did you get your race car up to the racetrack? From where you live to get it up there?
The wife would drive the Chevy and tow me, and I used to ram her a little bit. She'd slow down or go fast. Then there'd be an argument.
No, really.
As we've looked at some of the movies of the races, it looks like almost every race was a demolition derby. There are cars all over the place. How did the cars get cleared off afterwards? They probably couldn't run by themselves.
They had tractors.
Tractors? Did everybody drive the tractors after the race, or was there certain guys that just did that?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
I think Don and Junior drove most of them.
Right. Junior being Howard.
Yeah. I've towed a few, but
Yeah.
in between races.
How long? Let me ask a dumb question. How long are you going to be up here till you go back to Florida?
I'm going back around 1st October.
1st of October? Sometime prior to that, I know we've talked to all the racers. They all have an interest, just like you, to maybe go up to the racetrack and just take a walk around. Right now, it's so many leaves, it's hard to see. But the owners of the property here, the Leonards, have been gracious enough to say that when we can see it, we're going to have everybody come up on a Saturday morning, maybe, have a hot dog and a walk and just kind of reminisce a little bit. I think that would be a lot of fun.
We used to have hot dogs after the races
Did you?
with beer.
Right? Not before
Remember
the race.
Shorty Geisman? Not me, I didn't drink.
Yeah, of course.
Shorty Geisman has burning tires, and they got hot dogs someplace, and he was cooking hot dogs off the tires.
No.
Yeah, he swelled all up. That was a crazy place.
What other craziness happened? These guys own your property. Is there anything they should know about the property?
I could tell them a lot.
Okay.
I don't think I will.
We won't tell them everything.
Don said a few things. What was it? What was the ghost stories?
Oh, the ghost from the home, yeah.
Ghost in the attic.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that same ghost in the attic?
Didn't bother me.
Didn't bother you?
I'd run him.
What story haven't we asked? We're going to walk away, I know, and you're going to be out there saying, you're going to be talking to your brother. That's what's going to happen here in just a few minutes. You'll be talking to Don and says, Don, do you remember this event? And Greg Peterson will be sad that I've broken down the equipment. By the way, this is all being used for the Historical Society here. This is the Harmony Historical Society is.
Should have told me, I wouldn't have said some things. No, I don't care.
Is there anything that we're kind of missing here? Or Don, is there anything that we need to ask him? Remind him? Some story that you knew that your younger brother did that we should know about?
Don't tell him.
I better not.
Yeah, see, that's a brother reaction. Blinky, this is your chance.
They had more fun after the race, usually, the drivers.
Yeah, they'd all go and we'd party.
Big party up in the pit.
Of course, I had to stay there and keep them straight.
Yeah, yeah.
The fox guard in the hen house.
So what would you be, if this would be in the pits type area, or would you go
Yeah.
up to the concession stand?
No, that was too close to the house. We stayed down on the track. That was too close up to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she could hear us.
So that's where the real race was being conducted.
Yeah, talked things out.
Yeah. Well, this is what's your biggest memory of Roll O Bowl? I mean, Roll O Bowl has now been closed for over 45 years, but as you close your eyes and say, this is what I remember most about Roll O Bowl.
Fun we had. We had a lot of fun.
It sounded like it was family fun, too.
Yeah. Somebody'd act up, 3 or 4 guys would get on him and chase him and run him over. And always get even up there.
Yep. So this is better than court TV, because it happened right then and now. Red McNitt, this has been terrific. We've looked forward to this chance to catch up with a little bit of your reminiscences of Roll O Bowl, your family track. So I really appreciate this.
Yeah, I gotta get on. My rotisserie chicken's done. Had 10 minutes to go before I left.
This goes and back. But enjoying it, remember, right? And it's not competition now. It's just having fun.
Another thing, the day he knocked his teeth out, I won all 3 races.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Then the following week I caught you cheating.
They said that was a defroster, Ben.
Yeah.
There's a piece of old tire. It looks like it's been burnt. Piece of chrome and part of an old sign.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, sure. What fun.
Isn't that something? Just a piece of an old sign, piece of chrome. They said that's a defroster, Ben.
This is a hoot. This is a hoot. Well, yeah.
Oh, geez, look at that.
Any idea who that is?
Motel. Meeting.
You could see it. If you get up here a little bit farther, you could see it. Right where you were talking about.
Down in here there was a hole. Where the water goes on there.
Is that where they got the water to water the track from?
Well, most of these guys, of course, none of them have been here almost 50 years, you know.
48.
Did you come down? Is this?
Yeah, I went right down through there.
Okay, I seen Red Walters come down
Opposite
through.
of the pit, remember?
I seen Red Walters come down through here, and he come right to a dead stop. And all he had on for a seatbelt was a log chain. And his face went in the steering wheel and busted his nose and just laid his face wide open.
Remember old Bud Hauser?
Yeah.
Track of which you created with your brother. What's your reflections on today?
I feel sad. I feel glad. I'm just glad that somebody did a story on it. I never dreamed they'd do it. It's brought back a lot of memories. And I want to thank you, Pam, Randy, for all the work you put into it. It's been a great day, and the drivers made it.
Thank you.
Same thing as he said. Glad for you guys doing what you've done.
Did it bring back some memories today?
Bring back a bunch of memories.
Yeah.
Lots of fun down there. Too old to have it anymore.